Hey guys, a happy Saturday. It's Joe and it's time for a pocket with Joe over here on a Sports Grid TV. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of the stations out here. We're on IG and Twitter. Formerly Twitter, now X. We got 15 games, a two go over today. There are so many games on the slate in the ice hockey world, and I can hardly wait for these games to kick off. Now, we did see Calgary not able to get that win last night. Really disappointing out there as the Calgary Flames needed that win over the Columbus Blue Jackets. They will face the Red Wings tomorrow, and that being said, the Red Wings are in action today. So many games on the board. We were able to get the New Jersey Devils, though, on that money line, winning in overtime in that game. It was good to see what they were able to do out there. Just let me adjust one thing as we talk here. There we go. Good morning to everyone out there watching. 15 games. We're going to try to go through these as fast as we can. Again, we got that same game parlay on shots on goal in this game. In these games, I have one game that we're going to focus on where the defenses really do allow those shots on goal to come raining in. Let's make some freaking money, you guys. It's going to be a good time here. We're going to kick off with the first game on deck, and that is the Detroit Red Wings taking on the Ottawa Senators. Now, if you guys have been watching these teams, both young teams with the speed, the ability to play really explosive out there on the offensive side of the puck. The Red Wings come in here on the road at plus 136, minus 164. The Ottawa Senators are now up to that total of 6.5 juice to that over at minus 132 to the over. Now, if you think either team can cover that puck line, again, you don't want to take the Red Wings on the puck line unless you want to parlay that plus 1.5 at minus 170. The juice is just not there for me to take that one straight up. But the Ottawa Senators laying 1.5 is plus 140. Looking at these teams, I expect this one to be a game that does go over that total. We've had some superstars rising from these teams, and we knew these guys would be solid this season. You guys know the Ottawa Senators are a play-on team for me this season with Brady Tkachuk really leading this team. Now, Brady Tkachuk has 4 goals and 1 assist. Him to get a goal today is coming in at plus 135, and I think the value is there. Billy Husso is confirmed in net for the Red Wings, and this team, while they have been limiting those goals allows at 2.75 and the shots on goal at 27, Brady Tkachuk has just been so strong out there. If there's one player on the Ottawa Senators that I do trust to get the goal, it would be him. I'm going to stay off the shots on goal props in this game. Again, both of these teams, their defense has been strong at limiting their opponent's ability to get these shots. 27 shots on goal. The Red Wings are holding their opponents to, and 27.8 for the Ottawa Senators. So high scoring teams, but both teams that limit those shots. Corpuzzello expected in net for the Ottawa Senators. Now we know his first night out, he did a struggle and he allowed those goals to come in, but I expect more out of him in this game. That being said, I would look for that first period to be highly explosive out of these two teams. With the Red Wings rolling in, averaging 33.5 shots on goal per game, and the Ottawa Senators at 32. Both of these teams averaging over 4 goals per game. So first period over 1.5. The juice, it's just too much for me at minus 154. But both teams to score, we're going to get great plus money at plus 142. And I think it's a solid way to look at this matchup for these teams both to get on the scoreboard in the first period and make us some money. Now, if you are looking at a goal scorer here for the Detroit Red Wings, you cannot deny how strong DeBrincat has been. He has 5 goals on the season and 3 assists, 2 goals in the last game out. I was really hoping he was going to get that hat trick in that one. For the anytime goalies coming in at plus 175. So it screams value. And then Dylan Larkin has been the other huge playmaker here for the Detroit Red Wings. He has 1 goal and 5 assists. Anytime goal for Dylan Larkin coming in at plus 195. Now, interesting thing, I couldn't take any of the players in this matchup for their points today. I would look, though, if you're able to get it before this game kicks off. The game kicks off at 1 o'clock Eastern, so it's just before or just after noon Eastern here. I would look at those points because between Dylan Larkin, the goal or the assist is coming. He's plus 195 for the goal, plus 104 for the assist. That point's probably going to come in at minus 130, minus 140, and I think there's value in that for Dylan Larkin. So if I'm going to take a side in this one, we got to find a way to bet the Ottawa Senators and not lay all that juice that we're having to lay with them right now. I would look at the Ottawa Senators in regulation. That's coming in at minus 110. I do think they have the opportunity to get this win here. One thing that is scary here for them, if the Senators get in the box, the Red Wings could run away with this. They have the best power play right now in the whole league with an average percentage of 46.2 that they're scoring on those power plays. So the Ottawa Senators have to play a clean game. It's a lot to ask out of Brady Tkachuk. He's just like Matthew Tkachuk in some of these games. So watch for that if you are live betting this game. Shout out to everyone out there watching. Make sure you like and hit that retweet button over on X. I would really appreciate it. And set those notifications on IG. The next game on the board, we have the Anaheim Ducks coming in to Arizona to take on the Arizona Coyotes. The value on the Ducks is plus 158 on that money line. I just can't get there with this Ducks team. I don't think they're quacking in this one. The Arizona Coyotes on the money line, minus 192. We got to find some value how to bet them. If you like the Arizona Coyotes to win big in this one, it's minus 1.5 on that puck line at plus 126. Total of 6.5, actually juice to that under. I want to play on the Arizona Coyotes. This team hasn't been getting a lot of shots on goal or goals, only averaging that 2.5 goals per game and 29 shots on goal. So they're not highly explosive out there, but they're a lot better than the Ducks. The Ducks still averaging a little higher in those goals per game at 3, but only 25.7 shots on goal per game. This team defensively allowing that 3.33 and 32.3 shots on goal. Wow, the Arizona Coyotes defense has stood solid, and their goaltending. Pamelka in net should be able to stand tall against this Ducks team. So they're only allowing 2 goals per game and 31 shots on goal. The Coyotes, this is their home opener, and they have some really young, strong talent there. Clayton Keller, I'd look at him for the anytime goal for the Arizona Coyotes. And then Logan Cooley here. I think Logan Cooley has the ability to get the goal as well. If you're looking at someone for the Ducks to come out nice and strong, I have liked what I've seen out of Leo Carlson out there for them. So those are the 3 players I'd be looking at in this game. But it is the Arizona Coyotes team total that I like, over 2.5 for their team total. Looking for them to really up their offensive game in this one versus the Ducks, who just allow those shots on goal and are allowing those goals. John Gibson expected in a net for the Ducks here. So over 2.5 at minus 128. Little juiced. If you want to take the Arizona Coyotes in regulation, you're going to bring down the juice from the money line. So they have to win that in 60. It can't go to OT. That's at minus 130. Because this is their home opener, I like to play those first period puck lines for teams to just come out with that crowd interaction, the crowd really behind them. That first period puck line for the Arizona Coyotes laying half a goal is plus 140. So I think all the value is there with that one. Let's move on to the next game. Like I said, you guys, we got 15, so we're going to try to move through these really quickly here. The New York Islanders versus the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo actually able to get more goals in their last game. Just looking at current odds here over on FanDuel. The Buffalo Sabres minus 125, plus 104 for the Islanders. That total of 6.5 at minus 110. Plus 1.5 for the Islanders, no value at minus 225. And the Buffalo Sabres, big win, minus 1.5 at plus 184. Okay, looking at this game, Buffalo is the only way I can go. I think Buffalo is able to get the win straight up. We're not laying too much juice at minus 125. So I do think it's a solid way to go. We look at the Islanders, they are on a back-to-back with the New Jersey Devils. They had a really hard-hitting, a high scoring game actually in that one. And I cautioned you guys on that total because the Islanders had been so sound at holding opponents, limiting their ability to get those shots on goal. But then we looked at the opponents they had played. Then facing the Devils last night, it was a 5-4 finish for the Islanders with Sorokin in net. So with Sorokin playing last night, that game going to overtime, we will have Varlamov in goal here. I do think the Buffalo Sabres, with what we saw out of them in their last game, can come in and get this win at home in this one. I'm going to look for them to win. The Islanders are a team that last season, if you faded on the road, you made money because this team struggled on the road. Now you're giving me this team that struggled on the road after playing last night at home versus the New Jersey Devils and going to overtime. I can't believe the value we are getting on the Buffalo Sabres here. So it's Buffalo Sabres or nothing for me. So big shout out to you guys. Thanks for joining me over here. It is great to see everyone and saying hi this morning. Next game on the board, we have the Vancouver Canucks and the Florida Panthers. Now, the Vancouver Canucks, we know they've been struggling their last couple games, getting these losses here on the road after a really strong start versus the Edmonton Oilers. They're plus 122 on the money line versus the Florida Panthers at minus 146. Total 6.5, just to that over at minus 122. I do think there's the ability for the Vancouver Canucks to bounce back after those last couple of losses and get the win here on the road. So they're sitting 2-2 on the season. 2 wins. One came at home. Then they beat Edmonton in Edmonton. So they can win on the road, taking on the Florida Panthers, who are on or off that huge win over the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think this is a letdown spot for the Florida Panthers here. And I love this team. And there's nothing against the Florida Panthers. You guys know I was high on them last season, being high on them to start this season. And Matthew Tkachuk has been phenomenal out there on the ice. But I just think this is a letdown spot for them. So I'm looking for the Canucks to roll in with that value we are getting. This is a young, talented team who has explosive playmakers deep into their roster. So they're going to keep going with the offensive abilities as well of the Florida Panthers. And while they haven't been averaging so far on the season the goals that we want to see, I do still think this is a 4-3 style game. Hopefully that empty netter doesn't come in, because I do think if this one goes to OT, I would give the edge to the Florida Panthers here with Bobrovsky in goal. Demko expected in goal for the Vancouver Canucks, but they still do have the chance to win in OT with this deep roster here that the Vancouver Canucks seem to have this season. They've got a stronger power play right now, and we know this is all good for the Vancouver Canucks. So I'm going to lean on the Vancouver Canucks as the road dog here, and that over 6.5. Again, I think a 4-3 style game in this one. Ohio Bob, if you're looking for my other shows, just tune in to SportsGrid TV. You can go over to their website, www.sportsgrid.com/watch, and find all the places. I am live tonight from 8 o'clock to midnight Eastern. We'll be talking and betting all these live games, talking the NFL slate for tomorrow as well. And make some freaking money, Ohio Bob, tonight. So make sure you join us there. Getting Ottawa even money in regulation. Yeah, very good price for Ottawa in regulation. If you guys want to send in those questions and comments, make sure you do over on IG. I can see them as well. So thank you everyone who is here and commenting. So yeah, give me the over 6.5. I just love the ability of both of these teams to get those goals between the Vancouver Canucks and the Florida Panthers. Okay. We have I don't know if this is going to be a great game. The Washington Capitals and the Montreal Canadiens. I actually think this could be a great game if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan. Now, the Canadiens are home in this one, and I know some of you are turning up your nose already, saying, why am I taking the Habs here at home to get the win over the Washington Capitals? This Washington Capitals team has the players. This team isn't looking like themselves this season. Minus 120 on the Washington Capitals on the road. I'm just not willing to lay that price. Plus 100 on the Montreal Canadiens at home. I wish we were getting like plus 120, plus 130 here, but at plus 100, I'm still going to bite on them. That total 6.5 juice to the under at minus 122. Montreal is another young team with scoring depth that I think at this price, I've got to jump on them. The Capitals have had a major edge in this rivalry. They've won, I think it's 6 of the last 7 matchups versus the Montreal Canadiens. So they really have dominated this matchup. I just don't see it happening. Looking at the Capitals, their inability to score these goals is insane. They're only averaging that 1 goal per game, 22 shots on goal. They're not firing. And they're allowing 4 goals and 34.7 shots on goal per game. Kemper isn't looking like himself. And then we look at Jake Allen here. Jake Allen, I wish it was Sam Montague and not Jake Allen. And because it is Jake Allen, I'm going to lean on the over 6.5. So the under 6.5 is minus 122. The over 6.5 is plus 100. So Montreal at plus 100 and the over 6.5 at plus 100. The Canadiens just haven't given up in their games. They've been fighting back. They've been getting chances to win these games. They're sitting 1-1-1 on the season. So not exactly where they want to be, but I think at home here, we have the opportunity to make some money. Okay, that is that one. I'm seeing your comments. Anytime goal for Keller, Thompson, and Matthews. I do like where you're going, Larry. Oh, with that, that is a great one to take all of those guys for that anytime goal. Let me know if you're parlaying those together. And if you're parlaying them, what are those odds? Because I love a good parlay with those goal scorers. You're getting a fantastic odds. The next game on the board, we are going to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Minus 144 here for the Toronto Maple Leafs, plus 120 here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Total 6.5. Juiced way over at minus 158. I hate that they've juiced this so much. If we can see the first couple of minutes of no goal scoring, this juice will go down, and I'm hoping it will. But the ability for both of these teams to score right out of the gate, we saw it in that Calgary game where someone scored within Huberdeau. He scored within 49 seconds of the game kicking off. So if we see that, we're gonna get a 7 here. If you can find a 7 out there with better odds, I do like it on FanDuel. They're just giving me the 6.5. I could look at alternate lines. I would take the 7. I do think worst case scenario, you get the push at the 7. I just won't like minus 158 juice. Both of these teams have been scoring these goals. Both have averaging over 3 goals per game. 3.5 here for the Toronto Maple Leafs and 3.4 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The shots on goal, though, there is a huge difference here. The Maple Leafs averaging more shots on goal per game, 35 shots, while the Lightning held to 28.4. Defensively, looking at these teams as well, the Leafs do have the advantage, allowing 4 goals, both of these teams allowing those 4 goals. But the Leafs able to limit their opponent's ability to get these shots, holding opponents to 27.8. Wow. The Lightning are allowing 34.2. It's like their defense isn't really clicking yet this season, and this defense is going to have to step up. This is a game where I do have the same game parlay on the shots on goal, and it's all going to be for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We know the Toronto Maple Leafs are off 2 hard losses, and this is a team where off a loss, you love to back them last season because them losing 2 in a row just was not heard of. And I think them losing 3 in a row, I can't get there with them to lose 3 in a row. I think Toronto does bounce back in this one. But how do you find value? Because like I said, Toronto minus 144. That's hitting right on my limit for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I would look at them at the minus 144. I do like their team total, though. You're laying less juice on their team total, over 3.5. So they have to score 4 goals. And this one is coming in at minus 120. But the Lightning are giving up all those chances and allowing those 4 goals per game. So I do think with the scoring power here of Nylander, Tavares, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, that this team can get those 4 goals on the board. The Lightning have been doing their share of getting goals as well. Samsonov and Johansson, confirmed in net for both of these teams. I'm going to look at the Leafs to get the win. I'm going to also look at the over. Again, I said I think it's a 4-3 style game. The same game, shots on goal parlay. You guys ready for it? I'm going to take Austin Matthews to record 4+ shots on goal. Austin Matthews is being completely dominating out there. 6 goals, 0 assists yet, which is interesting. His shots on goal being 5-8, 5-8. So keeping with that pattern, can he get 8 shots on goal on the Tampa Bay Lightning today? Absolutely. So if you're looking for one player to kind of extend his shots on goal prop, I would take him 5+ shots on goal, 6+ shots on goal. You're getting a little greedy after the 6+ shots on goal because you are getting beautiful plus money on the 6+. But if you want to take him up to 7+ or 8+, that's a pattern. He's gone 5-8, 5-8. So he could get 8 shots on goal in this one, especially against this defense. So we're going to take Austin Matthews, 4+ shots on goal. We're then going to look at the Lightning. Brandon Hagel, he has been so phenomenally strong. And while the Leafs aren't giving up a ton of shots, I still do expect him to come out and get those shots in this game. Brandon Hagel has 4 goals, 2 assists. His shots on goal, he was limited in the last game to only 1 shot on goal. So I do think that firepower comes out of him in this one because the 3 prior, he had 3, 3, and 4. We only have to take him for 2 shots on goal in this parlay. Then we're going to look at Tavares here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's had 1 goal, 6 assists. His shots on goal have been really nice at 4, 7, 2, and 3. We need him to get 3 shots on goal within this parlay, 3+. And then a Braden Point here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. If there's one player that you really want to count on for the Tampa Bay Lightning, it is Braden Point. And I think outside of this parlay, I'm also going to take him for that anytime goal. Yet to get a goal on the season, but he does have 5 assists and those shots on goal, 3 and 3 a last couple of games. So Braden Point for 3+ shots on goal. And then Nylander. We got to look at Nylander here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's got 3 goals and 4 assists so far. Now, he was held to only 1 shot on goal in the last game, but the ones prior, he had 2 and then 6 and 5. I expect the same performance that we got out of him in the first couple of games, especially here versus the Lightning's defense. So, William Nylander to record 3+ shots on goal. Parlaying all 5 of these guys together is plus 633. So again, that is, are you guys ready? Got a pen. Austin Matthews, 4+ shots on goal. Brandon Hagel, 2+ shots on goal. John Tavares, 3+ shots on goal. Braden Point, 3+ shots on goal. And William Nylander, 3+ shots on goal. So again, plus a 633 when parlaying all 3 of those shots on goal. Ooh, Larry, that is a nice parlay. So that is anytime goal. Keller, Thompson, and Matthews all parlayed together. Larry's getting that at plus a 675 parlayed together. I like it. Add a Larkin, O'Reilly, and Masha. You're getting, oh, wow, plus 13,100. That's a nice 6-leg parlay. Definitely worth a shot. Panthers, Sabres, Senators are money today. Good luck, Erica, in those bets. I think you are on the money definitely with the Senators there. Okay, and the Sabres, actually. Let's move on to the next game, you guys. There's so many today. I love Saturdays because of it. And, we've got all the college football as well, basketball, just right around the corner. The next game on deck. Okay, we're going to check Vegas. I'm going to talk the Vegas Golden Knights, undefeated on the season. I'm just finding current odds here at FanDuel. Vegas Golden Knights. Sometimes I swear I look at these logos and I just go straight past it. Vegas Golden Knights minus 225 here on the money line, plus 184 for the Chicago Blackhawks. Total 6.5. Juice to that under at minus 134, plus 110 to the over. I'm taking the over. This is a home opener here for the Chicago Blackhawks. They've been on an incredibly long, hard road trip. I tell you, if the NFL or NHL wanted to highlight Connor Bedard, bad way to do it on this huge road trip versus really solid teams. So they come home from the road trip 2-3 here. I think this is a game where we can look at Connor Bedard in some capacity in this home opener. I could see the storyline of Connor Bedard coming out and scoring a goal, absolutely cashing for us. Him for the anytime goals plus 200. Again, I can't find the point prop in this one. I would look at him for the point here as well in case it's an assist like we saw in his very first game out. I do think, though, it's interesting. On FanDuel, you can take the home team, the first player to score a goal, or the away team, the first player on that team to score a goal. So they don't have to score the first goal of the game. They just have to score the first goal for their team. Connor Bedard to score the first goal for the Chicago Blackhawks is coming in at plus 650. So instead of taking him for the anytime goal, which is still great value at plus 200, because this is just a sprinkle bet for me, I'm going to take Connor Bedard at plus 650. Now, I think if you can find that point, if you can find Connor Bedard for a point around that minus 130, minus 135, again, the odds are just not up yet on FanDuel. I would look at taking him there. Home ice has been a huge advantage for these two teams going 4-1 in the last 5 meetings. And we know Vegas is undefeated 5-0. Do you think the Chicago Blackhawks in their home opener with Connor Bedard, Taylor Hall could beat the Vegas Golden Knights? I think I'd have to be a little crazy to absolutely believe that in my heart, but we've seen crazier things happen out there. So this is just a prop bet for me on Connor Bedard. If you want to take the Chicago Blackhawks plus 1.5, you are getting value plus 1.5 at minus 134. That being said, it is the Vegas Golden Knights. They're averaging 3.8 goals per game. We know they won the Stanley Cup last season. This team has been absolute fire with 31.8 shots on goal per game versus a Chicago Blackhawks team with an average of 2.2 goals per game and 27.2 shots on goal. They can't win a faceoff to save their life, it seems like, as well for the Chicago Blackhawks out here, only winning 35.9% of the faceoffs. And the Vegas Golden Knights dominating those faceoffs, winning 52% versus much harder teams here than the Chicago Blackhawks. So I do think this is one I caution you. Could I see the upset coming? Absolutely. Does the NHL want that upset for Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks to beat the former Stanley Cup winners last season? Absolutely, they do. Both teams have a really strong penalty kill, actually. Chicago has been strong on that penalty kill. So there's always a chance, you guys, but maybe I'll sprinkle. I don't know. It seems like I'm trying to convince myself here to sprinkle on the Chicago Blackhawks. If they are the team that beat Vegas in this game, Vegas could be looking past them. So I think it's worth a shot. And I like the over 6.5 because if Chicago is going to be able to get this win here, it is because they're going to have to score these goals on Adin Hill and find a way through the defense. Good morning, Neil. It's nice to see you joining us today. Okay, next game. With the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Dallas Stars. Now, the Dallas Stars minus 235 here at home, plus 190 for the Philadelphia Flyers. Total 5.5, juice to that over at minus 138. This is going to be a hard game here for me to find value in this one. I think Dallas gets the win here. We have the Flyers off that upset win over Edmonton. You guys know I took such pleasure in seeing the Flyers and Carter Hart play so phenomenally strong versus the Edmonton Oilers and limit them. Again, the Oilers have been coming out to some of these games and just not showing up. Like they didn't show up in Vancouver. They didn't show up in Philadelphia versus the Flyers in that game. I think, though, the Flyers will struggle versus the Dallas Stars. So Dallas in regulation coming in at minus 145. Not a lot of value, but that's the way I would go with this one. If I'm looking at this total, I hate betting under 5.5, you guys. If we see an early goal, which I don't know if we will between these teams, you could take, I think the under is a play. Let me just look at what the juice is on the under in this one. I just struggled to see the Flyers scoring a lot of goals. The under is plus 112. It's a hard under to take. Hines has been strong. The Dallas Stars, though, only averaging 2 goals per game. They are coming out so strong defensively, allowing that 1.67. They're limiting opponents to 29 shots on goal. And the Flyers, with Carter Hart, were able to shut down the Edmonton Oilers. So the play seems to be the under here. We know how quickly that 5.5 can hit a game of 6. So caution you a little bit, you guys, but I would go under before I went over in this game. The Flyers averaging those 3 goals per game and 33 shots. But again, the Dallas Stars defense is going to come out strong and limit their ability. Jake Ottinger expected in goal, and then Carter Hart for the Flyers. So give me the under 5.5. It's going to be a good game. I love defensive hockey. Let me know what you guys like. If you like defensive hockey or highly explosive hockey, like we should see between the Red Wings and the Senators today. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the Minnesota Wild. Now, the Wild are minus 245. Columbus coming in at plus 198. Total 6.5, actually juiced to that under 6.5 at minus 124. The over is plus money at plus 102. And I actually cannot believe that we are getting plus 102 on the over. Again, I do think this is one where this Wild team has been giving up the goals. They've been giving up the shots on goal. They've been getting those goals themselves. I think Columbus off the back-to-back, they got the win over Calgary last night, just killing me there because I did expect Calgary to get the win. I think Columbus can do their share of getting the goals in this game. I do think the Wild win this one. I'm going to look at the Wild on the puck line in the first period, laying the half a goal in the first period at plus 122. And their team total over 3.5 at minus 128. I think this is a 4-3 style game all day long. So give me the over 6.5 with plus money. The explosiveness of the Wild. This is a team that we really looked at as a strong defensive team. They're also off that hard loss to the LA Kings. They still put up 4 goals in that one. I believe they allowed 7 goals that the Kings were able to put on them. So while their defense should step up a little bit in this one, I still think Columbus will be able to do enough to push us over that total. Now, looking at the power play, Columbus, if they want to hang tight at all, cannot get in that penalty box. The Minnesota Wild are so much stronger on the power play. 12th in the league at 23.5% conversion compared to the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are only converting on 11.1% of their power play opportunities. So the Wild can run away with this one if both of these teams take a lot of penalties. The Columbus Blue Jackets also allowing a lot of shots on goal at 35.7. Their defense needs to step out, and Elvis will be in the net. And you guys know I keep fading Elvis. I thought Elvis was going to be in the net versus Calgary last night, but Spencer Martin did step in. So we will see Elvis here today. Just the ability here of the Wild. The Wild have so much more ability to score on those power plays that it's the only way I can look in this one. So team total over 3.5 first period. Puck line laying that half a goal is plus 122. It's so much value on the Wild in that first period with the Columbus Blue Jackets tired legs coming into this one. The next game on the board, we have the San Jose Sharks versus the Nashville Predators. Now the Sharks, huge dogs on the road, and rightly so at plus 205. The Nashville Predators minus a 255 total coming in of this one, 5.5 juice to that over at minus 128. Now, this Sharks team is a team that is struggling both offensively and defensively. We look at their shots on goals that they're getting and that they're allowing. They're the worst overall in the league in both. They're only getting 21.8 shots on goal per game. That is not a number that you want to be riding with for a team to be able to get goals. They're only averaging that 1.5 goals, and it's because they're just not getting that ability to shoot the puck on a net. These defenses are shutting down this team. And then when we look at how they're doing defensively, they're allowing that 3.5 goals. But what is alarming is how peppered their goaltender is getting. They're allowing 40.5 shots on their goaltender on average per game. That is not a defense that we can trust in here. They're taking on the Nashville Predators. The Predators coming in here, a team that I expected to get more goals on average this season. And I think this is the offensive explosion that the Predators have been waiting to have here. They're only averaging 2.6, but 34.2 shots on goal per game. With the ability of the Sharks defense to give up all of these looks for the Predators, I do expect the Predators to have a big game. I'm going to take first period over 1.5 goals in this game at minus 118. I expect the Predators to come out fast and hard and get those goals early in this one. There's just going to be a strong game for the Predators. I'd look at their team total to the over as well. I believe it's 3.5. I just can't trust the Sharks here to be able to limit those shots. The Predators, they've had a lot of shots. They're averaging that 34.2. They just haven't been sinking. So this is a game where they start sinking here. The Sharks do have a really strong penalty kill. So I do think the Preds need to play a smart game in this one, play a clean game, because they're not going to have that advantage on the penalty kill. Okay, next game. On the board, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the St. Louis Blues. Now the Penguins minus 158 here. The St. Louis Blues plus 126. Total 6.5 at minus 118 to the over. I love a good home dog, but I can't get behind St. Louis in this one. Again, this team isn't firing on goal. They're only averaging 25 shots on goal per game, 1.33 goals per game. And this is a defense that did step up in those first couple of games, and I liked what I saw out of them, and then they kind of fizzled out. They're allowing that 2.67 goals per game. So goaltending-wise, goaltending has been strong. Binghamton expected in net tonight, but defensively, allowing their opponents to get these shots on goal at 35.7 shots on goal per game. While the Pittsburgh Penguins coming in here, being able to get those goals on net this season, averaging 34.5 shots on goal and 3.5 goals per game. Their defense still allowing those shots to come in at 30, but I'm not too worried about the St. Louis Blues team. I still expect them to hit right around 26, 27 shots on goal. The Penguins need to bounce back. They're off that terrible loss to Detroit. The Red Wings dominated them in that one. The defense of the Penguins team not to show up. That was a 6-3 win for the Red Wings. But this Red Wings team is a different animal than the St. Louis Blues here. And I do think this is a huge bounce back for the Penguins. I love the value on the puck line with the Penguins, laying 1.5 goals here for the Penguins on the road. I know it's a scary situation, but at plus 158. I expect that one to come in nicely. So I'm going to look at the Pittsburgh Penguins puck line in this. The defense of the St. Louis Blues is just allowing now too many chances for teams to get up on them. So expect the Penguins defense to bounce back. Expect the Penguins to be able to get those goals, and for St. Louis to continue to really regress there. They're allowing the 14th most high danger shots in the league. So give me the Penguins to feast. They've also won the last 5 meetings between these two, and they're 5-1 in the last 6 in St. Louis. So this is going to be a great one if you're a Penguins fan. Okay, the next game we have, where are we at? Just looking at current odds over here on FanDuel, you guys. We're going to turn to the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the undefeated Colorado Avalanche. Now, the Avs at home in this one at -146, plus 122 here for the Carolina Hurricanes. Total 6.5, just to the under at -120. Expecting more defense in this game, the books are, because they're giving you slight plus money to that over. Goaltending for the Carolina Hurricanes just hasn't really been what I expected so far this season. This team allowing 4.8 goals per game on only 27.4 shots on goal. So that is not what we want to see out of Carolina. Frederik Andersen should be a lot stronger than we've seen him come out. This team is getting those goals on the board, though, averaging 4.6 and 34.8 shots on goal. So offensively, this team has started off a lot stronger than defensively and goaltending. While their defense still limiting, we know goaltenders take a couple of weeks to really fall into form a lot of times coming into season. So I'm not too worried about the Carolina Hurricanes sitting 3-2 on the season. I do think they are going to go on a hot streak here anytime, but will it be against the Colorado Avalanche that are sitting 4-0 on the season, playing absolutely incredible hockey on both sides of the puck? They're first overall in the league, averaging 39.5 shots on goal. And this defense is only allowing 1 goal per game. Elite goaltending here, averaging only an allowed 28.3 shots on goal. This is a complete team right now, and they're playing like it, and their record absolutely reflects it. I'm going to look at the Avs on the money line here. I got to lay the juice with them. I just can't see, with the struggles Carolina has been having in net, that the Avs can't take advantage of this and get the win on their own home ice. I would look at the Avs in the first period as well on that puck line, laying that half a goal. So much value for them in this one. But that being said, Carolina, like I said, is on the verge of an explosive game where their defense steps up, where their goaltending steps up, where offensively they come to play. So because of that, I think this game, if you're looking at any of the games today, has the ability to go to OT. And this is why I'm not taking the Avs in regulation, because I do think Carolina and Colorado are going to battle this one back and forth out there on the ice for the full 60 minutes with the chance of going to overtime with that empty netter. So money line here for the Avs, because then if it goes to overtime and they win in overtime, we still cash our bet. But that first period puck line is definitely where I'm going to look. If you want to sprinkle a little bit on this game to go to OT, I don't blame you. I am sprinkling a little bit on this game to go to OT as well. We're getting so much value. I believe it was plus 380. Don't quote me on that. Go check it out on FanDuel. Actually, I can pull it up again right here for you guys. Let me just go in. If you're looking for where to find that, you just click on the game on FanDuel, and under popular go, the very bottom is plus 360 for this one to go to overtime. So much value. But again, not one you want to bet the house on. You guys, bet small, bet within your budget always in these games. So we'll move on to the next one. You guys know what to do out there. If you're watching, make sure you do subscribe to SportsGrid TV on all social media platforms. And if you haven't downloaded the app, I don't know what you guys are waiting for. It is free and been a moneymaker for lots of people. Player props. You can follow your favorite host. You can follow me. Again, live tonight from 8 o'clock Eastern to midnight with Scott Wetzel. We're going to be talking. It's in-game live. We're going to be talking all of the games that are going on, how we can make some money betting these games live, and these next couple of games in the NHL will be live at the time that I'm on air. So I'll be giving you guys some live bets in these ones. We'll also be talking everything else going on in the sporting world, as well as our NFL bets for tomorrow. So we're moving on to the New York Rangers taking on the Seattle Kraken. Kraken finally getting that first win on the season last game out at home. They're coming in at plus 106 here on the money line to get another win today. Minus 128 for the New York Rangers coming off a loss. Total 6.5, juice to that under at minus 138. I have to look at this one going under that total. And I know the Kraken in their last game put up those goals. They put up 7 goals, but I look at the defense of the New York Rangers here and goaltending. Igor Shesterkin getting off to a really strong start. They're only allowing the 2.75 goals per game. They're second overall in the league at limiting their opponent's ability to get these shots on goal. And they've played hard opponents, so they're limiting opponents to 25 shots on goal per game. It's not going to be an easy one for the Seattle Kraken to get another win, 2 wins in a row. Grubauer expected in goal for them, and he has been inconsistent, I would say, to start the season, but overall, a solid goaltender. They are allowing the 3.2 goals per game and 30.4 shots on goal. This team, again, 7 goals last game, but that still only puts their average goals per game of the 4 games they've played so far this season at 2. So it's not a team where you can say, okay, the Seattle Kraken are going to come out again and be able to get these goals. I don't care who's in goal and what defense they're facing. This is not that team at this point this season. They were averaging the 32.2 shots on goal per game. Their high danger shots just are not raining in. While they could come in with momentum here and get this win at home, I think the under is the best play in this one. So that is the only way I'm going. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Kraken somehow were able to pull off a low-scoring win, 2-1 style win here over the New York Rangers. Yes, the Rangers are off a loss, but I could just see it playing out that way. Next game on the board, we've only got 2 left, you guys, so hold steady there. Joe going for the Kraken for that win streak. Yeah, I could see them getting both of these here. Okay, the Winnipeg Jets and the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, I'm sure they have busted one of your parlays. Everyone expecting them to get that win versus the Flyers. And I hope you join me here on Pocket with Joe on Sports Grid TV, because I told you Carter Hart can be deadly versus the Edmonton Oilers, and it came down, and it did. It came down to him. Now, did Edmonton show up offensively? No, not really. Did Jack Campbell show up? No, not really. The Flyers able to get that win. We grabbed them plus 1.5. I told you guys I'll sprinkle on that money line. Now the now the Edmonton Oilers are at home off a couple of bad losses. They're 1-3 on the season. No one expected this out of the Edmonton Oilers. We know the firepower this team has. We know how strong they are offensively out there, but they've been shut down by a couple of teams. They're going to take it out on the Winnipeg Jets here today. I love fading the Edmonton Oilers, but I can't do it in this one. First period puck line for the Edmonton Oilers, laying the half goals coming in at plus 138. We're getting so much value. Connor Hellebuyck is in net for the Winnipeg Jets. Connor Hellebuyck is a goalie that I love to back at home. In this situation, I think Edmonton will find his upper corner and capitalize on him in this game. The Winnipeg Jets allowing that 4.75 goals per game, only holding opponents to 27.8. So goaltending, again, issues for this team to start the season. Again, I'm not worried about Connor Hellebuyck in the long run. He's a bet on always at home. The Jets have done strong against Edmonton, 7-3 in the last 10 meetings, but I don't see it. Edmonton has just had too many struggles to start the season. I think they get things back on track here. Home ice has been a big advantage for these teams, 6-2 in the last 8 meetings. They need to come out strong out of the gate. So defense is my hugest concern. Goaltending is my hugest concern here for Edmonton. But Jack Campbell needs that support in front of him. They're still allowing that 30.8 shots on goal. Winnipeg is still going to score in this one. I just think Edmonton will score more. So Edmonton right now, we're looking at Edmonton minus 170. We can't bet that. We can't lay that kind of juice. Plus 140 for the Winnipeg Jets. Total 6.5 juice to that over at minus 140. If you can find a 7 out there, take the 7. I'm just going to look at some more first period bets. There is one prop that will come up when these games go off. All periods to have over 1.5 goals. I would hit that. I think this is a game where we could see Edmonton get a goal in every single period. I expect them to get 2 in the first, and then I expect Winnipeg to be able to start scoring as well. So the goals are coming. If you can find over 1.5 goals in each period, you're getting beautiful plus money with that. Again, it's a kind of prop bet that normally kicks off when these games are live, especially if the first period has gone over the 1.5. Then they give you that prop coming out all periods to go over 1.5 goals. So definitely look for that over on FanDuel. The first period. Edmonton on the money line, first period minus 154. You guys know I don't like that. First period, laying that half a goal is now at plus 140 as those odds have moved a little bit. First period total goals. Yeah. First period correct score would be interesting as well. You can look at first period Edmonton 2-1 over the Winnipeg Jets plus 1100. I could see that one coming. We know Jack Campbell can give up those early goals, but 2-0 for the Edmonton Oilers was my first original look at this game. 2-0 for the Oilers at the end of the first period at plus 950. But they could score 3. So any other score, that's interesting. So you can take any other score at plus 550. And this is what they're giving us. They're giving us the Jets 1-0. They're giving us the Jets 2-0, the Jets 2-1, and then the tie 1-1, or the tie 0-0, tie 1-1, tie 2-2, Edmonton 1-0, Edmonton 2-0, Edmonton 2-1, or any other score. So that means Edmonton 3-1, Winnipeg 3-1. Like, you could have so many other combinations out there. We've seen some really fast first periods. If we get a 2-3, 4-3, we could have that. I like that any other score at plus 550. I'm actually going to sprinkle on that one. I think it's an interesting look there. But that should be a highly explosive game. I would lean on that one going to the over. If you can find a 7 out there, I would hit the 7 instead of the 6.5 with all of that juice. I expect Edmonton to really dominate at the start of that game straight out of the gate. Last game on deck, you guys, and I will bookmark all of these games. So make sure if you're watching on IG and want to go back and catch any particular game, I will have those bookmarks out probably 15 minutes after we finish up here. The last game on deck, the Boston Bruins minus 110 versus the LA Kings at minus 110, total of 5.5. Juice that over at minus 124. Are the books really forgetting who the Boston Bruins are? They're 3-0 on the season, 2-1 on that puck line, 1-0 on the puck line on the road, and we can get the Boston Bruins here at minus 110 versus the LA Kings with Cam Talbot in net. I am not buying into it. The LA Kings have not beaten the Boston Bruins in the last 4 matchups. The Bruins have been so phenomenally strong in LA, and I know there was a time the Kings won in Boston, but 5-0 in the last 5 meetings in LA. The road team 6-0 in the last 6 meetings. That's what I mean. The road and home ice advantage isn't there. The road advantage is there for these teams. You give me the Boston Bruins with Ullmark expected in goal at minus 110. There's no way. We've got the LA Kings returning from road trip, and I know they've had some phenomenal games, and Cam Talbot has stood strong. I just think this is a letdown for this team. They're averaging 4.75 goals per game and 30.5 shots on goal. But the Boston Bruins coming in here, averaging 33.3 shots on goal. Their defense is holding opponents to 27.7 shots on goal per game and 1.33 goals per game. It's the goaltending here. Ullmark is elite. I'm just not buying into it. In the past couple of seasons, past 2 seasons, the Boston Bruins have outscored the LA Kings 17-7. Give me the Boston Bruins. Give me the Boston Bruins. Actually, you guys, I'm going to take them as well on that puck line, laying 1.5 at plus 220. I've also heard way too many people say the Kings are at home, are going to get this win. I'm not buying into it. Give me the Boston Bruins to look like the Boston Bruins team. We all know they are, and to come out flying out there on the ice and show everyone how they should have been a lot stronger in the playoffs last season. So it's going to be a great game. You guys, thank you for joining me. That was a long show. We almost ran an hour here. We're going to try to do these Saturday shows as quick as possible. Again, if you're watching on IG, head on over to X, Sports Grid TV, Twitter form X, and you will see the bookmarks up there. You can go back and see any of these games, but I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here. We will be live tomorrow. Tomorrow's slate is much faster. Less games tomorrow, but still quite a few. But good luck to everyone on all of your bets out there. Let's make some freaking money on the ice today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Make sure, again, join me tonight on Sports Grid from 8 to midnight Eastern. Live bets in all of these late hockey games. We'll also have live betting on the college football games going on and everything else happening out there in the sports world, talking NFL for tomorrow. My bets in those. So 8 to 12 on Sports Grid. Just head over to sportsgrid.com /watch, and it will be all the places that you can tune in. Thanks.